RKO NWO back with another DVD review. And no, we will not be reviewing the Office Season 1 to 5 box set today, but we will be reviewing the history of the World Heavyweight Championship, the history of the Intercontinental Championship, and the history of the WWE Championship. A nice 3 DVD sets that are so far in the series. So let's get started off with the first one ever made, the history of the WWE Championship. This is more how do you say it? Compilation than documentary. So we have a lot of rare footage on this DVD set, which I think all wrestling fans should own, because this is the history of the WWE Championship. This is the main title. So let's get started with the match listings. We got Ivan Koloff versus Pedro Moles from 1971. Wow, you're never going to see fine footage like that. Bruno Sammartino versus Killer Kowalski from 1974. Bruno Sammartino versus Superstar Billy Graham from 1977. Superstar Billy Graham versus Bob Backlund from 1978. We got Bob Backlund versus Greg Valentino from 1982. We got Bob Backlund versus Sergeant Slaughter from 1983. We got Iron Sheik versus Hulk Hogan from 1984. Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy from 1986. Hulk Hogan versus Mr. Wonderful from 1987. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from 1987, WrestleMania 3. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from the main event in 1988. The Macho Man Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 5. That's disc 1. All these matches, all these rare footage. Well, the first some part is rare. The WrestleManias you could find on your WrestleMania anthology sets, and so on and so forth. But then we got disc 2, which only contains 5 matches. WWF Championship, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 6, 1990. We got the Steel Cage match for the WWE Championship, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, SummerSlam 94. Iron Man match for the WWE Championship, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 12. The WWF Championship, Shawn Michaels versus Mankind from In Your House Mind Games, which some say this is the best match of all time and best pay-per-view of all time, in their opinion. The WWF Championship match, Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 14. That's how the disc looks. Only 5 matches contained on this DVD. Going on to disc 3. Street Fight for the WWE Championship, Triple H versus Cactus Jack at Royal Rumble 2000. Triple Threat match for the WWE Championship, Brock versus Triple H versus Kurt Angle at SummerSlam 2000. WWF Championship match, The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17. We have Undisputed WWF Championship match, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Chris Jericho at Vengeance 2001. Triple Threat match for the Undisputed Championship, Brock versus Undertaker versus Kurt Angle at Vengeance 2002, which, in my opinion, one of the best Triple Threat matches of all time. Undisputed WWE Championship match, The Rock versus Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam 2002. WWE Championship match, Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, Royal Rumble 2003. And Triple Threat match for the WWE Championship, John Cena versus Kurt Angle versus Christian. So, out of all these matches, if you were an avid DVD collector, you would probably have most of these matches on DVD. But I guarantee you will probably have none of the matches other than the WrestleMania matches. Anything. But these other 2 discs, you probably have most of these matches if you buy documentaries or if you buy pay-per-views or the anthologies. So, is this DVD worth it? Well, if you want to have a compilation in your collection just to throw this in the DVD and just watch these matches, then yeah, it's a good DVD. But if you really don't like the old school matches and you don't want the rare footage of them, then I suggest you really don't get this DVD. And if you don't buy a lot of DVDs, yes, this is the one. This is the one to have. It comes with the insert right here, and it shows the time. Sorry. It shows the timeline of all the champions, which is very nice, and all the history of all the belts, except they're edited in WWE version, which I hate. But what are you gonna do? Next DVD in the series. History of the Intercontinental Championship. This is also contains matches. It's also a three disc set, and they continue with the same casing and everything, which it makes it a really nice addition to the series. So let's get started with these match listings. We got the WWE Championship, the WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match. Pat Patterson versus Ted DiBiase. I believe that's the first ever Intercontinental Championship match. I could be wrong. We got Ken Patera versus Pedro Morales from the 1980s. We got the Pedro Morales versus the Magnificent Muraco from 1982. We got the Steel Cage match for the WWE Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The Magnificent Muraco versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Greg Valentino versus Tito Santana in 1985. Tito Santana versus Randy Savage from 1986. We got the Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. And this match is pretty much on a lot of DVD sets. So, you'll most likely have this match if you buy documentaries. The Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Honky Tonk Man as Superstars 89. That was a TV show, as I remember. Honky Tonk Man versus Ultimate Warrior from SummerSlam 88. Ravishing Rick Rude versus Ultimate Warrior. The original Cody Rhodes. Rick Rude. Disc 1. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. Disc 2. We got SummerSlam 1991. Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart. Also a match that are on DVDs. But it's also a really entertaining and really good match. Solid wrestling match all around. We also have Bret Hart versus British Bulldog from 1992. Also one of those matches that are on DVDs. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match. This is an hour-long match, as I believe. I haven't watched that match in a really long time, but it was a really long match and a really good match. So talked about to this day. Razor Ramon versus Jeff Jarrett from 1995. The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at In Your House Degeneration X 1997. This is also an entertaining match, and I believe it's on the ladder match DVD also. If it was a ladder match, I can't remember. 203 Fall match for the WWE Championship. Triple H versus The Rock at In Your House Fully Loaded 98, and Jeff Jarrett versus China No Mercy 1999. So a lot of 90s matches for all you Attitude Era collectors. Now moving on to Disc 3. The present day. What is that? Oh, the 2000. Okay. Oh, separated it like that. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't really notice that. The New Millennium Intercontinental Championship match. Chris Jericho versus Kurt Angle. And then you got Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit versus X-Pac at SmackDown 2000. Triple H versus Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. RVD versus Jeff Hardy on Raw. We got Edge versus Orton at Vengeance 04. This was also a really good match. This is when Orton dropped the belt to Edge and got his push to the World Heavyweight Championship title later in the next month and beating Chris Benoit. Ric Flair versus Triple H at Taboo Tuesday 05. That was also a really good match. RVD versus Shelton Benjamin, classic. Carlito versus Johnny Nitro versus Shelton Benjamin. Jeff Hardy versus Umaga, the Great American Bash, and Jeff Hardy versus Chris Jericho on Raw 2008. So overall, there's some matches you'll probably end up having, but I guarantee most of these matches you probably won't have, or they're kind of hard to find. Like a lot of these are Raw and SmackDown matches. A lot of these are, well, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam you'll have. In Your Houses, most likely you won't have. No Mercy 99 you won't have. SummerSlams you will. The WrestleManias you will. But the rare footage from the Madison Square Gardens and all that you probably won't have unless you've been taping those for decades. So that's the history of the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Also a good DVD to get if you're not a DVD collector. The history of the World Heavyweight Championship. Now this one had a documentary on it, which was also pretty good. And then it had matches. Let's start here. So let's start with the match listings. 2 out of 3 falls match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Pat O'Connor versus Buddy Rogers. We got Gene Kaninsky versus Dory Funk Jr. Jack Briscoe versus Terry Funk. Harley Race versus Dusty Rhodes. Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Magnum TA. Ric Flair versus Sting. That is probably a 5-star match, I believe. That's Disc 1. Disc 2, WCW era. We got Ric Flair versus Scott Steiner from Clash of Champions 14, I think, from 91. We got the Great American Bash, Lex Luger versus Barry Windham. Vader versus Ron Simmons. Vader versus Ricky Steamboat. Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair from 1994. Sting versus Hollywood Hogan. Classic. Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg, another good match from Nitro. Jarrett versus Booker T. The Rock versus Chris Jericho at Vengeance 01. No, sorry, No Mercy. I was thinking of the Jericho match for some reason. Now we move on to Disc 3, WWE era. Triple H versus RVD. At Unforgiven's first ever defense for the World Heavyweight Championship when it debuted. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at Taboo Tuesday. Another entertaining match, Kurt Angle versus Undertaker from No Way Out. SmackDown, Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. Batista versus Undertaker versus Edge at Armageddon from 2007. Survivor Series, John Cena versus Chris Jericho when John Cena made his return. And Jeff Hardy versus Edge at Extreme Rules is the last match on this DVD compilation. So, overall, this DVD is well worth getting because I guarantee you don't have most of this footage. You do not have this on Disc 1. I guarantee, because they don't release a lot of WCW footage and WWE DVDs anyways, you probably might not have this, but most of these matches you'll end up having, except the Raw match with, the SmackDown match with Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. 3-disc compilation, plus it has a documentary, which they did not have on the other 2 DVDs. It is well worth getting, and if you're not a DVD collector and you're just starting out, I probably think you should start out with these 3 because these are nice. These 3 are nice to have, and the way they made these, I liked how they kept it all the same, and the booklet style. So some great matches, some great DVDs, and a great set to have in your collection. So this is my review for the history of the World Heavyweight Championship, history of the Intercontinental Championship, and the history of the WWE Championship. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.